So, raw. Hello, welcome back. We've been working on the wither, kind of keep like figuring out new things that I want to do before I finish up. So my apologies if you're getting a little frustrated that this is getting drawn out. But the I'm really liking the direction this is going. So here, actually, do this. Look at that. So you can see we've added a lot of the detail down here. Do I need to mess with the focus now? Which one is this? Shoot, this is this one. Properties, config, focus. Come on, let me hit the focus. Anyway, sorry about that. So, I can kind of show you with this what I've been doing. We've started adding these sort of corruption sort of noodles and vines coming down through the side. We added a wooden sign, last one, with actually a good decent amount of detail. And then also continuing that sort of infestation all down through here. So I think this is adding a lot more to the piece that wasn't there before. And then the picture-in-picture is useless if it's the same size, huh? Anyway, the one thing I've noticed though is that with this kind of level of detail in here is that it makes sense to start bringing it up into here. So let me switch things out. Let me bring this back up. I'm trying to get like a good let's see. There we go. A little bit better. So yeah, CJ Zippy. So this is a Minecraft inspired sculpt. It shouldn't be on the Minecraft section. I actually flipped it over to sculpting. So it shouldn't be set in the games anymore. But yeah, the intent is that this is inspired by Minecraft. And actually there's a few crafters that are doing sculpting and stuff like that specifically on here. So if you dig it, stay. I would love to have you. And if you hate it, then feel free to move on to other things. But where is it? Dang it. God, my brain's just not together tonight. Config MC Andromeda. Hello. Sorry, I'm still messing around with my settings. I changed things. I just ordered a new arm for the overhead. There we go. There we go. Okay. So what I want to show you guys is if you look, you can kind of see a few more teeth popping out here. I started scratching away with the needle tool around the face on the hardened clay, and it started really like adding more detail, very similar to what we've kind of done here. So you can see for the wood texturing and graining that it actually turned out really well. So after we do this pass with the with sort of the corruption around the bottom of it, we'll probably start moving into adding more detail into the fired parts. And this is just to help give it an overall texture look to it that's a little more consistent, right? Because otherwise, I think what I was seeing before is that, you know, as I add to it, it feels out of balance. That's why I wanted to add the detail to the block below, because it just seems so plain, relatively speaking. So it's just, there's probably going to be a bit of that push and pull for a while until we really get it down to where we need to, I'm happy with it. So So tonight, probably just going to start working on a little bit of adding these noodles to the back and then fixing any areas where we've kind of messed up a bit. So who's all in? Cam, hey. Camera lover, hey. CJ Zippy, glad you're sticking around. Thank you, sir. And thank you for the compliment. Andromeda, of course. Mr. Red Velvet, haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad you came back. Scarlet Matrix, hello. Slim Tim and Spoolio. Oh, well. We are blessed. And SS Raptor, thank you for sticking around, man. Well, thank you for stopping in, Spoolio. Always, I know you're a heck of a lot more consistent about streaming than I'm even close to being, so. If I have to dart away for any reason, it's because I have I have cats and a bird in the same room, and that's potentially disastrous. Okay, where's... Nope, not needle. What have we been using to press it down? Have we just been doing this? I think we have. Yeah, I've been looking at some options for molding supplies. Smooth On is kind of the standard that a lot of people use. I actually had a really bad experience with one of their distributors. I ordered some supplies and the box showed up pretty wrecked, and even though I had explicitly had ordering instructions to like leave it at a certain location, they said that UPS was trying to charge them, saying that the location was wrong, and they were trying to charge me for that even though it wasn't, and it just, I don't know, they just in general it wasn't a good experience for me. So I'm thinking about ordering some supplies from Brick in the Yard. They make similar rubbers and casting supplies, and if you're ever interested in cool like sort of how-tos, Brick in the Yard actually has some pretty cool ones on YouTube as well. That's how I found them in the first place. So I just kind of support what they do across the board, so I figured I'd continue that and actually order from them. I'm trying to... Come on. Have more things like floating around my head. Edith? Yeah, I need a... there's a ball tool. It's a little too substantial. There we go. That's the one I want. I'd actually considered stopping to pick up some Sculpt glue and see if that would help adhere the unsculpted material or the unfired material between coats, because it's kind of a pain in the butt trying to get it to stick down. Oh, we did. I was wondering. We lost a chunk. Thought it looked a little plain. Excuse me. reattaching this piece that came off. I wonder if it'll be like flaky when we go to fire it, you know, like if it'll pull away from it easily or not. I mean, really, it just has to survive into mold. It doesn't have to even survive coming out of the mold. Because once we get rubber around it. Oh, another thing to mention too is I know I was talking about doing a matrix mold, and I don't know if I'm going to do that after all. I'm still up in the air on it, to be perfectly honest, because I think I can do this in a block mold. But I don't know, I still haven't decided. A block mold will be easier, be quicker, so we'll get done faster, but I've always wanted to try a matrix mold too, so I don't know, maybe I should do the block mold just to make sure I know what I'm doing first, because I could try and make a matrix mold and then totally like ruin it. You can see how tenuously this is stuck down. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys had a good weekend. I don't think the last session went up on YouTube. I think it said it failed, so I have to double highlight tonight. Make sure it goes up, otherwise we're gonna lose it. So my apologies if you went on there to look up the last one and it wasn't there. First one I've actually had failed, so. Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna have to do a round of firing and then patching. Hey, Running Bear. So camera lever, how much would what be normally? I don't know if that question's directed to another comment or something for me. Smooth out. Those little bumps are a little too drastic. I think it looks a little silly. Aw, we lost Spulio. There. Okay, fix that. Yeah, we really need that stiffer tool for it. Come on, stick down, you little monkey. I haven't priced out the piece just yet. I mean, once we get it to mold and I can do some calculations on hours put in or just how much it costs to run the mold, I can price it out. I'd like it to be sub 100. So, I don't know. I just gotta do some, numbers on I just want to at least break even on the mold supplies. Let's see. Have I been preparing for the holidays? Yes, I am in full ball humbug mode. I actually had a rather spirited conversation with a coworker today about how I abhor gift giving and gift getting. I find it uncomfortable both ways. Which I'm sure is probably not a very popular sentiment, but personally, like, giving things to people out of social obligation is obnoxious, and then I can't even go shopping to my stores that I normally go to because everybody's there and shopping and being crappy to each other, and I hate it. Well, glad you could make it, Dark Thanks. Alright. So, how I'm making the wiggles, just in case you're wondering, is you literally just roll out a noodle and then you kink the sucker up. When I was looking at that reference material for the veins that I found, that's pretty much what everything looked like. I mean, oops, that got a little, but that kind of seems to give it this sort of vascular sort of look, you know? Surprisingly simple. But the more you can get it into kind of like right angles and deliberate kinks, it seems to work pretty well. Just getting that sucker to stick. Stick, you bastard. Man, I need a better lighting setup. Something I realized is that this table is not a good lighting setup. I almost wonder if I need to just kind of build it out, cut a sheet of plywood or something to put over it, and then maybe put like a ring of lights so it's not even casting shadows, but I don't know. Like, when you're doing color and painting, even light is actually really helpful. But when you're doing sculpting and texture, like actually having hard shadows and a single point hard light is actually very helpful. So, because if it's too evenly lit, then it just washes out all the contrast and you won't even see like the detail that you're doing. So, I don't know, I'll try and come up with a way to do both. It'd be nice if I had a little more leg room too. For example. Actually, another good question for you guys too is like, what is helpful from camera angles? Because I actually have a little more options with my cameras now that I got this other arm. So do you like the direct overhead? Do you like this little kind of more offset? Is that a little too dark? A little better. Hey man. Yeah, face cam, sure. I mean, if you guys want to see my face, then maybe we'll do a face cam. I'm not reacting to anything. So I would have thought it would be kind of boring. So I was just kind of going with the thinking that you want to see the art, not my ugly mug. See, I would guess that you don't actually want to see a face cam as a regular part of the content. I'm just guessing you're curious like what I look like. So there'd be no sense in sacrificing art for vanity. Come on, stick down. No! Don't pull up. There you go. We'll keep the mystery alive. Honestly, if you stalk me on my social networks, you'll catch glimpses. I mean, on my main Twitter, the not Propcraft Twitter, my other Twitter, there's a picture of me with our little sick bird. If you're so curious, you'll find it. Yeah, sorry for the other night. Like, I didn't realize I was showing you guys the bird with the mic still muted. I was like sitting there like telling all about her and talking. Oh yes, we're doing it. And then yeah, with a muted mic because I'm an idiot. My Twitter name is Sean Novak. Look up Machinima Novak, Novak, and it should pop up for you. You can see the Boyd. So for the curious, we are fostering a sick bird at the moment. Her name is Blanche. She is a blue-crowned conure, and she has a pretty bad respiratory infection. So she's getting a little bit of specific attention and antibiotics. The little lady works at a vet hospital, so we foster every now and then. Although this one's one of the families. Seems a little weak back here, you know? Kind of like this here, but I almost feel like there needs to be more on the back, like a real, like, strong, maybe even getting down onto here a little bit. Oh, that's why. So I tried to update the game to Sculpt, and they're like, "We're sorry, we don't recognize that game." So I unfortunately can't even tell the truth if I wanted to. Hey, Emil. Alright, so I'm thinking this needs to be a little more central here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a pretty serious one. I'm going to do this just to give it a little bit of interesting shape. And then we'll do the same thing where we just kink it up. See who doesn't love a little kink. I'll add some more specific pinches into the shape. This needs to be flattened a little, as we'll attach it to the base up here. And then this guy out to the side like that, and then this is going to come down straight from here. I'm just going to go over the one that we already did. So this will come down like this. Just to give it a little more intensity. I'll just bring it right onto the board. And this can come over this way a little bit. And we'll add some offshoots to it so it's just a little more pronounced. This may be dumb and I may remove it. Hey Busy Boo, the clay is it's a polymer clay called Super Sculpey, and it's Super Sculpey Firm. I wonder if this is easier. Let's see. Just trying something here. This may be a bad idea. Man, it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. Really? Or maybe it did, I don't know. Hey, for pricing, I haven't figured it out yet. I basically was saying that I need to get the materials to make it and then price it based on materials. Because this directly, just this piece would be way too expensive. So the copies, the molds I make of it will be a lot more affordable. And I just need to price out the resin and the fractional silicone as well. Was it Warren Buffett says, you know, make money in everything that you do. That's how you figured out to become rich. Not that I'm going to get rich on this. But I do want to at least cover them with supplies, right? I just want to make sure that, like, if I have a mold of it, that I can just keep cranking them out and sending them out at least without worrying about losing. Usually when I'm doing stuff like this for like friends and family or whatever, I'll price it around materials. You know, they want to buy the stuff, then I will do the stuff. I did a head cast of my brother. He bought all the supplies and trusted his life to me suffocating him, potentially. Yeah, I mean, how much typically, it's really hard to say. Like, it really... See, and this is kind of, I think, a conversation we've had a few times on here for the regulars, but when it comes to art, like, you know, this really has taken at least, I think, probably close to 40 hours. So it's a week's worth of wage, right? So if I was making minimum wage, which is like a little over $9 an hour, but let's just say it's $9 and I was doing 40 hours of this, you know, that's $360 just for that, at minimum wage. And you wouldn't normally price a skilled labor, like this is very specifically skilled labor, right? It's art. It's not something that is your average person on the street can just walk in and pick up. So you'd usually price that a good bit more. So even pricing that at about $20 an hour, which is equivalent to about $40 a year, you're talking about something that is going to cost you, you know, about what, 1,800? Is my math way off? I'm not thinking. 40 times 20, no, 800. Duh. 1,800. So, and if you want to do even, you know, just a little better than that, you're talking like at least $1,000 project. So the economics of it, if you just make one-off art projects, can be very, 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 very expensive, right? So what, for me, I don't think it makes sense to try and make one art piece, right? So that's when you get into molding it, because then I can distribute the effort over multiple copies, because I can put a lot of effort into making a really cool master and then make copies of it, and then those can be cheaper because then I can recoup the cost over that. So using that same logic, let's say that 40 hours becomes, say, 50 hours, because you have to put in extra time to mold it and then make the effort of copying them, or pouring and pulling, you know, then out of those 50 hours of work, if you wanted to make $20 an hour, that's $1,000. If you sell, you can sell 10 of them for $100 instead of one of them for $1,000, and then, you know, sell 20 for $50, right? So you can amortize that cost. It's a little oversimplified of it, but that's why I think making something that you can mold and make a copy of is better for everybody, because you can offer the art at a better rate, but also not shoot yourself in the foot by doing a bunch of work for very low return. And Busy Boo, no, ask away. It's helpful to recover. Yeah, there is an armature in here. So, yeah, cost of materials on top of it, right? So the clay itself, like the box of clay I got, which I probably used about half, but even still, I'd probably say use most of it. It's like another $16 bucks, armature wire, wood plug in the bottom, you know, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, there's an armature that runs up through and across here. So hopefully that answered your question. I know it was a little probably more than what you were asking, but I feel it's important that people understand why art can be very expensive, you know. I've had people approach me before and it's like, hey, can you do something for like 16 bucks? It's like, you know, it's like you're asking me for that price for 16 bucks. You want me to do a half an hour's worth of work. You know, how far do you think I'm going to get in half an hour? So then the other side of that would be, you know, so say I was able to make 1,000 copies and only spend, you know, an extra, say another 50 hours doing it. So say I spend 1 week sculpting and 1 week mold making the entire time, you could sell these for like 10 bucks, you know, $5. Yeah, I try to answer questions, and thanks guys for this. The intent here is there's a good group of people here too that know the answers because they've asked and seen them answered. So try to make this a useful experience for people. I like the concept of education because a lot of times I think there's things we don't know just because we don't ask, and people should never be afraid to ask a question. Otherwise we stop. It's critical, right? Like how you have to pass information on. It's looking all right. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays have been historically bad over the last month, so it's kind of just been Wednesday, Fridays. But ideally, I try to be regular about it because, you know, it's if you guys want to make time to hang out, you know, it's easier when it's not erratic. And I'm also super lazy, so if I don't have to stream, I don't. And definitely welcome newcomers. I appreciate it. Alright, so I'm thinking maybe some branching piece from there. Maybe. Something a little thinner. Because it does look a little more like a root, doesn't it? So I think maybe trying to pinch it too much of an angle is what did that. So let's just add some more organic shapes here. Let's do this. Hey, Pixel Angel. Oh no, that's what happened. I just pulled it up off that side again. I gotta be really careful. It's really annoying how how much the clay is not sticking to itself. It's actually making things very difficult. I mean, honestly, all of this would probably have gone a lot faster if the clay had a sort of more of a likelihood of sticking down to itself. Oh well. You know, and your fabrication and stuff like that too is sometimes really dependent on speed, so that kind of will dictate a lot of what you do. Oops, wrong one. I need this one. Hey, thanks, Emily. I'm glad to have you back. Yeah, we've been hammering away at it. Keep trying to add more and more. Actually, I shouldn't say I keep trying to add more and more. I keep adding more and more because I'm particular and picky and never happy with it. Trying to add the little divots to it a little more, just to give it more character. Then, because I think you're right, RBP. The using the tool to make strokes made it look kind of like wood. So we need it to look a little more organic. So we'll use divots. Hopefully they'll just stay on. What I'm hoping is that when it gets fired, it'll, because when you heat it back up, it softens a bit. It's a little rubberier, so maybe that's enough to kind of reconnect to the material to itself, so it doesn't flake and chip off. Maybe we don't go too crazy with it. Hey, Pixel Angel. I use Super Sculpt. It's a polymer clay. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've divoted too much. Just looking at the ones that actually look good or a little more defined. I think I need... take a little time to define it a little better. You could always go back and scratch into the surface as well. Dap! Lifted it up, went underneath. Okay, that was a bad tactic. We'll wait to fire it. we save that for like a more after cleanup. Might be safer, you know, because then if it lifts up, I can just glue it back down. I don't want to lose all that nice texture that we put in around it. It'll look weird, and it'll look like there's like flat spots, you know? Like, actually right there. Thanks for stopping by, Cam. So I don't want to get too much into it this time because this thing needs to go through the oven again. But I'll show you a little bit of what I was doing on the skulls once we have. Let me clean this up a little bit. It's super gross. It's muy gross. I forget what I was doing with this that got so covered in gunk, but I think it involved fire. Actually, I'm pretty sure it did. Oh, you know what? I think I was like heating it up really hot and then melting plastic with it or something. I forget what exactly. But yeah, so one of the things I started to do here was use the needle to start scratching in details to the surface, like, you know, right around the edges of the teeth. Right, so if I did it on Steve here, you can kind of see how there's this. Let's see if I can. Hold on. I heard a loud thunk, and I want to make sure the cat is not eating a bird at the moment. But you can kind of define the ridge of the teeth, the edges of the teeth as well. I don't know how much it's going to show up on the camera because we're literally talking about pinprick size scratches. But it lets you add a little more, you know, detail. It's one of the things I like about Sculpt is just having these multiple options on detail layers, you know? So if we just keep making that arch around the tooth, you know, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it doesn't really show up well, does it? It just helps give a little more definition to it, you know? And I may take a Dremel to this at some point and carve out some of the spots. Maybe probably not detail stuff like the teeth, but there's some other spots like under Muffin's jaw there. That's a little too bulky, so I'd probably just grind it down. But it's just kind of a nice way to add just a nice touch more detail. I was also thinking about doing the cranial plates, scratching it that way as well. If you guys will give me just a second, I'll be right back. Hey guys, sorry, I was tending to the bird. Right, but let me you're in the way. So yeah. Oh, hold on, bird again. Hey guys, I actually have to go deal with something at the moment. My apologies for cutting it a little short, but this is actually probably a good stopping point anyway. I gotta run this thing back through the oven to get it settled, and then we'll do the next time we can get into finishing up some detail. But again, sorry, gotta cut it short, but I gotta tend to a little sick bird at the moment, so end card. So thank you guys for tuning in, even though it was a bit short tonight. I will be up and running again on Friday. I try to get all these side-loaded to YouTube, so if you missed anything, check out the YouTube links below. And of course, you can catch my Instagram and Twitter there as well. So thank you again for tuning in tonight. Again, my apologies for needing to cut it short, but I will hopefully see you all this Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Good night.